good? What's good, y'all? We back with another live video, live podcast, and welcome back to the JJ Sports Talk Show. I'm Jordan, Big J. Got my boy Big Mazz. What's good, brother?
What is up, Big J? How you doing today?
Hey, man, long day, long day, but
I
we
feel
good.
that.
We have another one.
Another one. Back
I,
with
sw-
another one.
I swear we had DJ Khaled as our spokesperson.
I would
Another
love
one.
I would love to just interview DJ Khaled. I feel like that would be the funniest interview, bro. You know.
Yes,
But
sir.
we back with another one.
How you feeling? How you feeling, big dog?
You know how it be, man. Living life out there grinding. We got all this stuff popping in the sports realm right now. So let's just jump right into it. Big J, Kyrie Irving is not getting vaccinated, man. Um he's gonna miss 42 games at least. That's just home games. Not to mention the other games in New York against the Knicks and games against teams in California. We know we got four teams out there: the Kings, the Warriors, Clippers, and Lakers. We're talking about upwards of 50 of missing 50 games, man. Um, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, how do you move forward with this, and how are you feeling about it?
Man, big mess. Why'd you have to start with this freaking topic, yo? No, it's fine.
We had
Oh,
to,
man. So, man, like Kyrie, see, this whole vaccination, you can't really, it's a touchy subject because, it's your body, your choice.
for sure.
Um, but I mean, you are at a position in your life and your career where you are making millions of dollars, right? And some of us are, don't have jobs, don't have, are fighting for every paycheck to put food on the table. And I mean, obviously, research is key for for vaccination to know what is being put into your body. But when it comes down to money, you're losing money, bro, at the end of the day. And the NBA is enforcing that rule now, where I think it was the first rule was when Wiggins he didn't want to get vaccinated, and the NBA said he can't play home games. And you said that before we got on the podcast or live, said that there's like a couple LA, like there's the Lakers, the Kings.
Any team in California,
Oh yeah,
teams in New York, they're not letting people play if you're not vaccinated. That's state regulations. I don't even think that's NBA regulations. The NBA did um basically shut down Andrew Wiggins for trying to claim religious purposes for not getting vaccinated. They shut that down. I don't know how that conversation went, but I don't know, man. We were dealing with some touchy subjects right now, but at the end of the day, this is an exclusive billionaires club. They set the rules that you have. I would really like to know the Players Association's take on this. Kyrie Irving is a part of the Players Association, so there's definitely had to be some conversations, and we're at a point now where if you don't play these games because you're not vaccinated, you're gonna be losing out on a lot of money, man.
like so. Do you think that possibly if this doesn't work out, do you think they're gonna go back to a bubble situation, bro?
Possible, man. I don't know. It all depends. If we start seeing cases among players rise, absolutely. If we start seeing fan attendance taking a hit, absolutely. But I think they're gonna be rocking. I mean, we got a couple of teams out there. A lot of players are vaccinated. I know the Lakers are 100% vaccinated, and that's kind of just like the things that you got to do at the end of the day, man. They said that no matter what, the most important thing here is performing for the fans and going out there to win a championship. And I think that mentality right there, that willingness to do whatever it takes, is what's going to take a team like the Lakers all the way, where you know very well the Nets are going to be missing Kyrie Irving out on the court.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Some teams are 100% vaccinated, some teams are not, but 90% vaccinated. I think the whole league in a total is 9% vaccinated. The whole league as a whole league. So we have some interesting, well, not interesting, but we have some celebrities like Shaq, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coming out. Even Kyrie's a teammate KD, answered a press conference question. So let's start with Kareem. He was saying how Lakers legend with the sky hook. We all know him, but he came out in a statement saying that if you are on a team and you don't get vaccinated, you should be kicked off the team. So how you feel about that, man? Like, do you think that's like reasonable?
I think it all depends, man. If that's my team, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the move is necessarily, but I gotta put the team and the brand first. We're out here to win championships. I need you to come to work. I'm paying all this money for what? For you guys not to play uh half these games, man. We're not talking about missing a couple of games here. We're talking about missing over half a season, dog. And that needs to be better. I'm making an investment in these players. My fans come out to see. We're not talking about just a bench player either. We're talking about Kyrie Irving. We're talking about a marquee player in the NBA. People come out specifically to see Kyrie Irving some nights, you know? So, me personally, I'm probably looking to move him, man. Probably looking to trade him, but the value isn't even going to be there because his talent wise, the value is 100% there. But then dealing with the other headaches of, my man's going to miss upwards of 50 games. Is that worth, what is that worth? You ain't getting no first round pick for it, I feel like.
True, and even his own. So we talked about before the show that that Katie's comments were soft because he said, "Oh, I think the reporter asked Katie, are you worried about Kyrie not showing up to games or or being?" He was like, "No, he's not worried because like you can't really I, it's his body, his choice. Like we're gonna go without him. Like so being so that trio, that Harden, KD, and Kyrie, and him being now, if Kyrie steps away from the game due to this situation, do you think that KD, like being the superstar on the team, do you think his comments were soft or like how do you react to that? Like his comment?
Yeah, I think KD's a great friend in taking the pressure off of Kyrie. But I'm gonna be honest, if I'm Kevin Durant, like I'm pretty upset. Like we decided to come here together before James Harden was even in question of coming here, right? So it was like me and my boy came here to win championships and be great. Build up the Brooklyn Nets, be stars on our own without the criticism, take it together, instead of being like, oh, for KD, it's you only won because you got Curry and Clay, and Kyrie didn't want to be in LeBron's shadow all that much, tried going up to Boston, being a leader there, didn't really work out. So then he converges with his boy KD, who they get along very well. But if I'm KD, I'm very upset because I'm like, Kyrie, I'm doing whatever it takes to win this championship, building this legacy, proving that we are the best team in the NBA today. And if you're going to be missing half these games, like, man, it's great when we're going to have you, but you're a crucial player here. Our bench is not that deep. We just picked up Patty Mills. That's a plus. But outside of James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills, Joe Harris, and a half of Blake Griffin, what are they really working with, man? It's not that much. I know they got the kid Nicholas Claxton's looking pretty nice, but Kyrie is still a major piece. We're not talking about a bench player or a role player. We're talking about our one of our franchise guys.
So just to follow those comment or that statement, like what so do you think if you're an owner of or if you think you're well Steve Nash isn't he can't really control like what the GM stuff, but like if you're a GM of the Nets, would you want to keep Kyrie on the team or would you trade him?
No, personally, man, I think I gotta be looking to move him. But like I said previously, you're gonna be taking a hit on it, man. He
But
doesn't have value.
So I mean, I'm for trading him, but it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same scenario on a different team, bro. Because Kyrie is Kyrie. He has his views. He
Mhm.
has. It's gonna like if the gods strike on my team, the Lakers, and we sign Kyrie, he ain't playing because you're not getting back. If
For
you go to
sure.
the Celtics again, any team, like I
Well,
mean, I don't
those teams definitely ain't happening. As you know that, Big J. You know,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
I
I'm
think
saying
a
like
team.
hypothetically.
I think a team that would be looking to move for him is a team, like the Cavaliers, a lower end team, maybe even the Orlando Magic. But they got a
So what about
decent team.
that Philly Brooklyn trade, bro? The Ben Simmons.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think it would work. I just Philly seems like they're looking to win though. They were the number one seed. Um, from I think they ended up the number one seed in the East last season. They're knocking on the door. They're looking to win the championship. Ben Simmons ain't the guy. Kyrie could be the guy, but what good is it if he's not even going to be around when we need him? And here's my question: what do you do when you get into playoffs, man, and you're playing teams that are, you know, what if we're dealing with the championship game and Kyrie can't play against the Los Angeles Lakers because game one and two are in Los Angeles, you know?
Facts. Yeah, I just like even Shaq came out. I was like, yo, trade him, because you don't want that drama. I mean, even it's not really drama because like it's like still again like it's a great area when you talk about vaccinations and forcing stuff on people that they don't want it. It's like your beliefs, but like I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like kind of drama for the team because you're missing that chemistry. I don't believe the. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that Brooklyn had a full season when they're all together at one time on the court. Maybe a couple games,
I think they
but
literally played nine games, Big J. I think they played 9 games together, like
that's
starting. That's
crazy.
it.
And they're supposed to be the big three in the East. Like a big, and they're not. I mean, okay. Well, Harden had a couple injuries to sideline him, but like they really haven't had that chemistry, man. And like that's why I think the Lakers have that edge because they're healthy. They got Russell Westbrook. Even LeBron was like, in order for us to win a championship, is to stay healthy, 100%.
Absolutely. And look, everybody, you mentioned it before, everybody got vaccinated, man. They're all going to be available unless they test positive for COVID, but they've already took every precautions that they could to stay on the court. These are guys that they're locked in completely. And hey, I don't mean to like bash Kyrie or anybody out there. Me personally, I'm vaccinated. I believe in the vaccination, but that doesn't mean that you have to make your own educated guess out there. But at the end of the day, we're not dealing with your average Joe where if they bring X amount of money into the into a business, and if they're missing, the business isn't going to be hurting that much depending on your position. When we're dealing with sports here, especially, this isn't the NFL, right? This is not a 52-man roster. We're dealing with 15-man rosters, limited space in basketball, and Kyrie Irving got a fat contract, man. So this is a big investment, and he's a crucial part to the team. And it's almost harder to kind of judge because him missing is a giant gap for the Brooklyn Nets, man.
I definitely agree. And like and like you said earlier in the show, like you said that okay. I mean, fans when they go to the Barclays Center, they're looking to see KD, Kyrie, and Harden. But come on, let's face it. Like, I mean, they're coming to see Kyrie, man, because he's a circus act, man. With the handles, he's nice. People want to come see that. I mean, yeah, they want to come see KD and Harden, but he like Kyrie, he runs the show, man. Like, and like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just a gray area, like where it's like tricky, like like you can't be like. See, the thing I don't like about the NBA is like they're kind of like enforcing it on players. Like, hey, it's like pay to play, right? So pay to play. Like, if you don't pay, you don't play. If you don't vaccinate, you can't play. And but it's come down like to where these players are getting, like you said, fat contracts, and it's like I would. I mean, if I was a player, I would get vaccinated. But then again, I might have a different belief than you. You know what I'm saying? Or, but when it comes down to a locker room and like that, I don't know what the rules are, right? With the vaccinated, like the mandate in the NBA, but like I don't think that player can be in the locker room as a vaccinated player. So we
I
travel on
got
the same plane together, and like,
Yeah, dude, it's we're dealing with a lot of headaches now at this point, man, where it's almost you need to decide what's more important, whether if you want to take this shot and get paid, go out there and win championships, or is, your personal beliefs more important to you? And there's nothing wrong with either way, but at the same time, I can't necessarily blame a team for being like, yo, we don't want to deal with this anymore. This is just a headache. We're here to win games, put out a quality product, and make money at the end of the day. And how can we make money when, listen, I'm going to be honest, I think people are going to see the Brooklyn Nets because of Kevin Durant first and foremost. Maybe James Harden second, but Kyrie's definitely up there, man. We're talking about the best handles in NBA history. The man is phenomenal out there. The guy's a complete scorer at the end of the day. People love watching Kyrie play. There's guys out there that make the argument that Kyrie saved LeBron in the finals. This is how good the man is. So, and I don't know what Kyrie's thinking. I can't speak on his behalf, but I can't speak for the Brooklyn Nets either. But I do know if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I want him out there as much as possible, and I'm pretty tight that I'm going to be losing fan attendance because Kyrie Irving's not going to be out there. Thank God I have the other two, to hold it down. But let's be honest, people are going to be like, yo, we don't know, especially if they start losing games. Kyrie's going to catch a lot of heat, man.
facts. And like I have to look this up, and I'll probably bring this up next podcast episode. But like I'm wondering if the unvaccinated are unvaccinated right now. Or I wonder what the rule is when they get vaccinated, fully vaccinated, like if they could come back to the league.
I'm sure it's gonna be if people decide to get vaccinated mid-season. I don't know. It takes I know like 2 weeks was like the normal for everything to kick in before you can go back to normal stuff. So if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it sooner than later. But hey, some of these guys, Wiggins, Kyrie, among others, this is what they're choosing, and I don't know, man. I do know that if I'm an NBA owner, we've already have enough information out there. We're working with the players union. This is what we decided, and I don't hate you, but if I start losing games and losing money, hey man, I gotta trade you.
And like those players, I mean, it sucks that they're losing. They're not getting paid for those games. You know what I'm saying? They're not really getting. That's the new policy. But some can kind of argue us and be like, okay, well, they can counter argue and
They're gonna counter argue and be like, "Yo, this is this is my body. I'll put in it what I want." And hey, dude, we're not here to tell anybody what you need to do. We can tell you what we think. We're giving our opinions out here, and we trying to be professional about it. I don't hate Kyrie for not getting the vaccine.
Me neither.
But but then again, I'm nobody to the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not a teammate. I'm not a coach. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of Kyrie's game. At times, Kyrie can be kind of a headache out there. He's a very strong mind person. Very opinionated. I don't always agree with what he says, but there's no denying that he's a baller, man. He's exciting. You love to root against him. You love to watch him no matter what. But as I was saying, if I'm a part of the Brooklyn Nets, then yeah, I'm pretty pissed off if he's not going to be out there. But hey, Jay, you did say Ben Simmons, right? Joel Embiid recently just came out and kind of threw some heat, a little shade at Ben Simmons. Did you see that? And if you did, what did you think about it, man?
Yeah, I just want to, man, thank you for having my back on that. I was lost my train of thought, bro. That was funny, man. But thank you for that. But Yeah, like here, let me read let me read the what he said to the fans, man. Let me look at that real quick.
Yeah, Big J. Why we get that? Dude, I'm gonna be honest. New stuff is coming about this Philly situation every day. You know, it's getting to a point where this relationship is gonna be unsalvageable. You definitely got to keep it moving. Big J, I got the quote right here. Joel Embiid, um, on the 76ers being built around Ben Simmons. Our team has always been built around his needs. Even going back to the reasons we signed uh Al, my bad. We got rid of Jimmy. For those you don't know, Al was Al Horford back then. We got rid of Jimmy, which I still think was a mistake, just to make sure he needed the ball in his hands. To me, man, that says 100%. I'm sick of putting up with Ben Simmons. I know he came out afterwards and said, I still want Ben Simmons here, blah, blah, blah. We can make it work. But man, he just kind of threw him under the bus. He basically said, yo, we've been putting up with your needs for so long. You've been a headache for so long. You're not doing enough to be this much of a headache. We lost out on good players because of you. You need to get it together, man, or get out. That's basically what that's a subliminal message to me. That's what that's saying, Big J. What do you think?
Yeah, it's basically saying it's basically just what that quote just said. It's like so we had Jimmy, which he was a dog in Philly, shipped him to Miami, but because we wanted to have Ben have the ball in his hands, because he's like a hybrid point guard size center,
I call him a point
and
forward, he's
he
point
a point
forward.
forward, and we have basically we have a good roster on paper. He's got to go out there and produce, but Ben is just like Big Perk. I call him Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins said he's scared. He's scared. He's scared of playing in Philly because Philly is a tough crowd. Yo, I'm not a Phillies fan. Y'all know I'm a Ravens fan. But like I said in the other podcast, Philly fans, Flyers fans, Phillies fans, Eagles fans, they are all dedicated to their like win loss, and they'll tell you
Philadelphia
if you're doing shitty, man.
Philadelphia is a rough place to play, man. If you can't handle
He's
the
scared, man.
criticism, absolutely, man. But
Carry on, man.
he needs to, man. He can't handle the pressure in there. Perk was saying that when he first got into broadcasting, people were hating on him because he doesn't use big words. He's got a certain accent to the way that he speaks, and people are like, oh, he's never gonna make it. But Perk's been around for a while, especially in the broadcasting. He's killing it. But he said you can't shy away, especially when you're dealing in those bigger markets. Perk played in Boston for a while, man. Anytime that he didn't produce, and don't get me wrong, Perk wasn't necessarily a marquee guy, but he was still in that starting lineup. If he didn't produce, you hear about it. Philly, absolutely, they're one of the most passionate fan bases. You gotta, if you perform for you, man, you will be on the level of honestly God in that city. They love their athletes that perform, but when they when they know that you're better than what you're giving out, I don't know if there's a rougher fan base out there to give it to you than Philly, man. And he's running from it. He's afraid of the pressure. He's being a child about it. And this is just absolutely unbelievable that the team's giving him everything that he's needed. And he still is just, yo, this isn't me, man. This just isn't right for me. You're not catering enough to me. And JoJo's basically saying, like, yo, I'm the one who's been the better of the two, but we haven't been meeting my needs. We've been meeting your needs, and that's why we're not winning right now. So that's definitely shots. It's definitely Ben. You need to go. I need better help because you're like, I need somebody that's going to be strong minded, somebody that's going to be here present and be able to deal with the pressure playing in this market. And that ain't you, my man. Sayonara. Get me somebody that's worth it.
I mean, basically, like I like how you said child mentality because Ben was like, "Oh, basically our relationship with or Joel Embiid is like salvaged." I mean, just like look at Jordan back in the day, man. Like he, like same, they're all on the same team, but he was an asshole to his players because they wanted the best out of him. Joel Embiid the same way. I mean, even though Jordan and Embiid played different roles in different eras. Or Joel plays harder than Ben Simmons, and we all saw. I wish I had the rights to like the copyrights to show the video of that playoff game when Ben. We all knew that play against the Hawks when he. I'm starting to laugh, bro, because that one play where he gave up a layup and a dunk, and he passed it to Thibault, and he missed the shot. Yo.
I don't know.
That was the vocal point. That was the whole focal point in him. Like, I don't think he cared, man, on that play, bro.
I think he was afraid, Big J. I think he was afraid. You notice there was some stats put out there. He didn't not even score. He didn't shoot in the fourth quarter a lot of games. He was afraid of the criticism. He didn't want the losses to be put on him. And that's why, hey, you are a point guard. Yeah, distribute the ball. But when you're a player, we're talking about a 3-time All-Star and a very short career. Ben Simmons hasn't been in the league that long. But he's been in the league long enough to know that sometimes you just got to take over. You cannot shy in the small moments, otherwise you will get squashed by the pressure. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. He's starting to take the heat, and he doesn't want to deal with the responsibility. He basically just wants to go out there, get paid to play basketball, but he doesn't want to be criticized for his performance. When Shaq is the first one to say it, this is a life where you're under the microscope, especially when you're a major player like he is in a major sports market, which Philly is up there in major sports markets, and you got to deal with the pressure, man. There's no time for people that don't want to be in front of the camera, man. Everything that you do once you join this league is scrutinized, examined, and people speak on it, man. If you can't handle it, maybe this isn't the league for you.
So, like, that's a good take, man. Like, so a couple weeks ago, I think Doc Rivers, the head coach, joined First Take. It was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and he was like, this was before pre-comments of Joe Embiid. And Doc Rivers was like, he wasn't really faced. He was just like, yeah, I think we can. I'm obviously here on national television. He's gonna like. I'm not saying he's gonna lie about his plans, but he was saying how yeah, we can definitely win something with Ben. I like what we got, but it's weird because like a team like Philly, they want Ben back. I think there was a story or article I read that I think Ben was in LA and working out, and some of the players from the Philly flew to LA to meet with Ben and was like, "Yo, come back to Philly," and he freaking just ignored them, bro.
He didn't even take the meeting, bro. How disrespectful, how arrogant, how dare you, bro? These are the guys. These guys are the reason why you're a 3-time All-Star. Don't get me wrong, you put in work, congratulations, but let's be honest, Philly was not a first seed just because of Ben Simmons. Philly was a first seed because everybody was doing their job. Him and JoJo were doing, they're a nice duo. I don't think they complement each other that well. I think there's just too much space down there. JoJo can space the floor a bit, but let's be honest, he's not shooting like Curry, as he shouldn't be. I mean, he's a center for crying out loud. But having Joel and Ben on the court together, and especially when you're dealing with Tobias Harrison.
I think Tobias Harris. Yeah,
Tobias Harris, my bad. Yeah. When you're dealing with them three, man, you're losing spacing on the floor. So I think there's definitely better people out there to play with JoJo. But at the end of the day, like, this is your team, bro. You're a first seed because of them. You're an all-star because of how well the Philadelphia 76ers have done, and you're a part of that success, but you're not the reason for that success. How dare you not take that meeting? How dare you disrespect these guys when they've been holding you down for so long? So, of course, Doc Rivers is going to be like, oh, yeah, we can win with them. They want him to come to practice. Because you're not going to move him right away, especially it's not guaranteed. You're going to be trying to put out feelers there. But let's be honest, they're probably going to start the season with Ben Simmons, so you might as well get some playing time out of him. You're going to win games with Ben Simmons. I just don't think you're going to win a championship with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And if I had to come down to choosing between the two, I'm sticking with JoJo because he doesn't shy away in the big moments. He is a little injury prone, um, but I'm dealing with those injuries because he's got that championship mentality and he doesn't shy away in big moments. Where Ben is just basically a turtle that tucks away.
See, this is why like I love sports because we can connect different sports with the same situation. So I feel like this is a situation like the Green Bay Packers, bro. Got Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay, right? I'm obviously they're a championship now winning team, right? Championship hungry team. They're contenders. And Aaron Rodgers, like before he signed that 1 year deal, he was like skipping practice, missing practice. Um, didn't want to come because the coach, um, wants to go somewhere else. But it's like the same situation with Ben, like championship winning team in the Eastern Conference has the ability to win a championship. Ben, I mean, obviously you can't really compare because Aaron Rodgers, he's the star of the team, the starting quarterback. Ben is not. I mean, he's a three-time All-Star, but he's not really like. The question is, who is this? Who is it? Joel Embiid? Who is the star of that team? Like, so that's where you can compare like with the situations. Like he's not coming to meetings, not flying back to the team. He was kind of like Aaron Rodgers was kind of low profile all off season until like he was forced or not forced, but he was like kind of brought to the media, asking them questions. He kept it. I don't know if you saw it. Like he kept it real during the press conference. But I don't think we've seen any freaking press conferences of Ben Simmons. Like he's
Yo, but that's the thing, Big J, right? Aaron Rodgers is proven. We're talking about a guy who's won MVPs. He's won a Super Bowl. Ben Simmons is not as proven as Aaron Rodgers. So this would be the equivalent of, Kevin Durant for Aaron Rodgers. Kevin Durant was throwing like these little tantrums and stuff and acting this way. It's completely different because this is a guy who's arguably not only the best on his team, he is arguably the best in the league. Nobody's sitting there saying Ben Simmons is the best in the league. All right. He does things very well. He's a great passer. He's a solid defender. Dare I say, a great defender. But he doesn't do enough for you to win a championship. You obviously can't put the team on his back every time you try to. He just passes the ball and shies away. And we're dealing with a guy whose value is not worth the headaches he's putting the team through. I mean, Big J, let me ask you, if you're moving forward, you're the Philadelphia 76ers, who you keeping between him and JoJo?
It's obvious. It's an obvious question. I'm keeping Joel Embiid, bro. Like I will build my team around him. I don't want no Ben. I don't want no crybaby on my team. Like this is because of one person. That's because of one person. I ain't gonna play. That's because they had a little feud. Um, yes, I'm keeping Joel Embiid, man, because he's a dog. He can shoot the three ball now. He can stretch the floor like you said earlier. He can dominate in the paint. He's like a modern day Shaquille O'Neal, man, but with a better shot. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't want no Ben Simmons because like he's acting foolish. I'm with Shaq and Perk, man. He's scared. Get him off the team. Ship him to the sunny side beaches with the palm trees, or down south with the palm white beaches of Miami.
Dude, he keeps it up there talking about Indiana. He ain't gonna end up in no
Oh
California.
man,
He's gonna
dang,
end up in the
Johnson,
middle of
Indiana.
nowhere with. I mean, hey, maybe him and Sabonis would be a nice matchup, but what is worth giving it up? Karis LeVert got a little bit of a health history. We know, thank God he got traded because they found that spot and basically saved his life. But he also just went through another injury. He had a surgery, I believe, in the off season. So I don't know what pieces they really got in Indiana that's worth trading for Ben Simmons. But let's be honest, you don't even have to give up the full bag because he's tarnishing his trade value for the Philadelphia 76ers every day that he doesn't show up for practice, every day he doesn't pick up the phone calls. And Big J, you said that Aaron Rodgers had the press conference and kept it real. You know why we don't see that from Ben Simmons? Because Aaron Rodgers didn't do anything wrong, for crying out loud. The Packers did him wrong at every angle, right? The Philadelphia 76ers have not done Ben Simmons wrong at every angle. Let's break it down real quick. The Green Bay Packers bring in somebody in the first round. They draft a quarterback, right? They brought in Jordan Love. instead of getting former MVP Aaron Rodgers more offensive weapons, more defensive help, they bring in his backup, right? They start letting go of guys that he's comfortable with playing with. And maybe, hey, you can make an argument that those guys weren't performing, but they weren't doing everything to keep him happy. Philadelphia, let's switch back, right? They did everything to keep Ben happy. JoJo even said it. We had Jimmy Butler, dog, top 20 player in the NBA, Jimmy Butler. Love the dude. He's great, great for the team, great mentality. They gave that up to stick with Ben Simmons, all right? So that Ben kind of had the ball in his hands a little more, so Ben wasn't sharing the limelight among Jimmy Butler as well, because let's be honest, Jimmy Butler was kind of outshining him a little bit in Philly, right? So that's the thing that it's absolutely ridiculous. They bring in Al Horford, who is a center that also spaces the floor, he's a power forward center these days. They brought in more 3-point shooting to cover up Ben's inadequacies. They brought in Seth Curry. Dude's been killing it from three, right? They brought in Danny Green, been known to shoot threes. They've given this kid every opportunity to succeed, and he just keeps spitting in their face, man. And that's why I've kind of lost all respect for Ben Simmons, man. It's time to get him out of there. I don't care where you ship him to, get something in return, even if it's something not that much. Anything is better than dealing with this headache if he's not going to show up because he has no value. If he shows up, completely different conversation. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, like, I think your mic's kind of laggy, man. I don't know if you got my text. I don't know if it's mine or yours, but it's kind of like we can deal with it, man. We can.
I apologize, Big
No,
J.
but I mean, like, yeah, it's all good, man. I don't know if it's gonna affect the when I drop it, but we'll see. But yeah, like I mean, I can still understand what you were saying. That was kind of like staticky, but yeah, no, I definitely agree, man. Like I don't want if I'm Doc Rivers, or a GM of that team, or not. Like you said, like I mean, we can get like another superstar player in return for Ben Simmons, but I don't want headaches. We are in the Eastern Conference where it's getting tougher with Miami, with Kyle Lowry in town in Miami. You got like still the Bucks. Who else?
The Knicks, man. The Knicks are legitimate contenders. I'd argue that the Knicks on paper are just as good as the Philadelphia 76ers right now. Adding Kemba Walker, adding Evan Fournier. The Atlanta Hawks, like without Ben Simmons, if he's not going to be there, like what do they really bring? We know that they're capable of going deep in the playoffs. It's just whether or not they're capable of winning a championship. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's plenty of teams that I trust. In the East, I trust Brooklyn even without Kyrie. I trust Brooklyn over them. I trust. I'm not sold on Milwaukee, but I think Milwaukee has a better shot because their players actually buy in. And they, Giannis is a beast. Miami to me looks better than them, and dare I say the Knicks, man. The Knicks got some legitimate pieces now. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but I'm saying I see them going farther than Philly with the pieces that they just acquired and the defense that Thibodeau gets out of his players.
Right. Yo, can you still hear me, bro? All right, bro. I switched my internal speaker to my computer now. It was my Yeti. I had my Yeti in my both like for my mic and my speaker, so I think it's a little better. But yeah, man, so we got Brooklyn, we got Philly having a little issues. Philly, Brooklyn's a little different situation, but Philly, like Ben, he needs to get it together. So let's move on in the NBA. So how do you feel about Carmelo? He's
teaming up with LeBron.
He's had the Banana Boat crew, including Chris Paul, but he's on the Suns. So why do you think that it's the right time for Carmelo to join LeBron, man? I mean, obviously, like we all know the answer to it, but
I don't think everybody knows the answer to this, Big J. I think a lot of people have been sleeping on Carmelo the last couple of years. I think let's look at Melo's career, right? Starts off with the Nuggets. Bad, man, bad. Everybody, it was so exciting to watch. He was a nice young prospect. He was coming off that NCAA run with Syracuse, and the dude was just amazing. He was still really athletic, scoring monster. Always been a scoring monster. Goes to the Knicks. Dare I say, kicks it up a notch. You know, was one of the best ISO scorers in the game, just one of the best scorers in history of basketball. I can't name a lot of guys that are better than Carmelo Anthony when it just prime Carmelo Anthony when it comes to just scoring the ball. Obviously, there's a couple of guys out there, but we're dealing with one of the best of all time. We're dealing with a guy who arguably could have beat LeBron in that rookie of the year debate. He was that good. Now, obviously, he can't get it done in New York. I don't think that was really his fault. I think it was the pieces that they brought around him, and eventually he ends up getting moved on, right? Was on OKC for a bit. I didn't really see that working. You had three guys. We talk about Brooklyn needing the ball and whether or not it's going to work. When you're dealing with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony, those are three guys that, Paul George is probably the best of them off ball, but those are guys that need the ball in their hands to make an impact. I didn't see it working. I think they just had big names, and that's what they were going for. They weren't necessarily thinking about team needs. Sometimes you got to go with those team needs over the big names, depending on the situation. Moving forward, he goes to Houston, right? We already know that he has a rocky relationship with Mike D'Antoni because of those New York years. Mike D'Antoni says, no, Carmelo's going to be starting for us. He's not going to come off the bench. Bah, bah, bah. That's why he ends up there, right? What do they do to him, man? They try changing his entire game. They basically stick him in the corner, and they said, Melo, you're going to become a catch and shoot three guy. That's all you're going to do. And I think Melo could have done it, but they didn't give him enough time, man. They gave him under a month to try to work his game into it. Like, you're changing a guy's game completely. And we're not talking about him just getting into the league. We're talking about a guy who's been successful at high levels in the NBA, and you're just gonna tell him straight up, we're gonna change your entire game, man. I think that tarnishes his reputation because then they kick him to the bench, Big J. Then they move on to Portland. I've obviously he bounced around, got bought up by a couple of other teams, and he ends up in Portland. We see a revitalizing the career. He took I think it was a year off before he ends up signing there, and I think Portland was the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. It proved that Melo can still score. It can give you 15 to 20 points off the bench. This is exactly what the Lakers have been missing for so long. They haven't had anybody scoring this many points off the bench since I can honestly remember being alive. Obviously, you had guys that did their jobs and put up points, but nobody at this level, Big J. And let's be honest, Melo and LeBron, they're getting up there. LeBron's still going. Melo, we've seen signs of slowing down. The good thing about Melo is that his game isn't based on athleticism and it ages well. But at the end of the day, his chances of getting a ring are slowly coming to an end. We don't have much seasons left with him. The next two seasons, I don't even know how long he's gonna really want to stay around. This run with the Lakers is basically make or break, or whether or not he gets to add the championship to his career, Big J.
I agree. Um, he's been on so many teams, and and I feel like I saw a report saying that he was still kind of I think LeBron. Correct me. I gotta probably look this up, but LeBron was what? I forget what pick was he? LeBron first pick or
Yeah, LeBron was first pick.
first pick?
Carmelo Anthony was the third pick in
First
that
pick.
draft
He was
because he should have been the number two. I think LeBron was obviously the first number one
yeah.
pick, but you could have made an argument for Melo a little bit. But I think everybody and the mamas know that Carmelo Anthony should have been that second pick going to Detroit instead of the move that they made in was it Darko Milicic? Who I forget who they took, to be honest with you. But that's my point. The man who they took didn't even obviously they got a championship that was awesome, but it wasn't Carmelo Anthony. If they keep Carmelo Anthony, that's a completely different dynamic. Maybe they win a couple of more championships. And I don't know, Big J. I think they really messed up in that draft.
Yeah, I saw a report that Carmelo was a kind of, back then they were kind of heated because he should have got that number two spot. But I mean, I think right now, like you're right, like right now is a perfect opportunity. You got, like so potential starting lineup would probably be Russ at the one, maybe Malik Monk at the two, um, Melo,
He's got to come off the bench. I think that's the move. You got to have
LeBron.
Melo come off the bench.
So
And
LeBron at the three, Dwight at the four, maybe 80 at the five,
nah, nah, not at all, Big J. Let me
or
break this down for
or
you.
DeAndre Jordan.
No, 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 no. Listen. You're not. I don't think you can have DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard on the court at the same time in today's modern NBA. Everybody keeps on talking. I know why you're saying AD at the five, and it's a little confusing for people because there's so much talk of AD has to play at the five. AD has to play at the five. If AD is going to play at the five, it has to be during those small ball. I don't even think you can necessarily even be running Carmelo with it. I think Melo needs to be used as a six man off the bench, and I think he needs to have control of what he's going to end up doing with the basketball. I think if you have Rondo, Rondo's passing
Yeah.
with Carmelo Anthony coming off the bench, I think you're doing just fine. I think Kendrick Nunn scoring off the bench is going to be just fine. For me, the starting lineup can only go one way because I don't want to see Anthony Davis at the five. Everybody keeps on saying that they want to see it in spurts. I think that's great. But let's be honest, AD's fragile. The five is a very physical position, and you get banged around way too much down there. And I'm sick of not having AD for long stretches of time. So for me, the starting five should be Russell Westbrook at the one. You can interchange the two. I would like to see Wayne Ellington out there because he shoots such a high volume of threes, and he doesn't need the ball in his hand to make an impact. He is legitimately a catch and shoot three guy, and he does it very well. Um, you can obviously, I think you put another defender out there, deciding who you want to go with. It could be Tyler Horton Tucker. Doesn't really matter who you throw, just as long as you're going to get defensive effort out of there. And anybody that can shoot a three it doesn't hurt to keep him out there. Trevor Ariza is a little older, could be working, but I think it's guys that play defense, shoot threes, and don't need the ball to make an impact at that position. Then obviously you have LeBron at your four. I'm sorry, complete. You're gonna have LeBron there too. So when you're going small, LeBron's gonna be your four. When you go and AD's gonna be your five. If you're gonna go big, which I would like to see more, you're gonna have LeBron at your three, Anthony Davis at your four, because he can stretch the court. He shoots threes. He's a quality scorer. He does basically everything, man. That's why he's the best big man in the game when healthy, in my eyes. And then that's when you have Dwight Howard rocking down low. Obviously, Dwight, has injury history. He's not going to be playing a full game. That's why you brought in DeAndre Jordan. You brought in the big fellas to bang down low, grab the rebounds, and take the contact. So this way, Anthony Davis doesn't have to, and it does help that both guys are known to block shots. They're known defensive mind. They're defensive minded centers.
I definitely agree, man. Like, so I definitely agree. Like the center position is definitely like a pivotal position in the NBA. You get banged up, and like you said, KD's fragile. Um, I think they are, or I know they are. They should be 100% healthy, injury wise, coming into the season. Um, these past couple of years, like Braun, he before he's went down with those injuries, he was up there in the MVP race, man. Like before he went, I think that one year he had that groin injury. He missed like a couple games or maybe like half the season. His obviously his numbers dropped, and people were saying how LeBron wasn't productive. Well, okay, no dip. Like he had an injury, you know what I'm saying? And he was up there, producing.
He's always going to be up there. We're talking about one of the greatest of all time, Big J. But
Yeah,
yeah, he does. It's such a weird thing because LeBron James is one of those people where it's, by some groups, he's going to be can make the most simplest pass in the world, and we're talking about how it is the greatest pass in the world. But if everybody else would have made that pass, it doesn't carry the same hype around it because it wasn't LeBron that made it. Then there's other people who I think have some voter fatigue, sick of hearing about him a little bit, and they're just going to hate on him at any chance. So right now, as it stands, when healthy, LeBron James is still arguably the greatest basketball player on the face of the planet. All right, but let's be honest, my man is up there in age. We got a groin history a little bit. The Lakers in general, Anthony Davis, a little bit of a history. Thank God Russell Westbrook doesn't have an injury history. That was a big signing for them. But Big J, I don't think there's anything LeBron can do to win the MVP this year because of how much help that he actually has. When somebody's like a Luka Doncic is going to be shining without that much help and still sneaking into the playoffs. How do you feel about that? Do you think that the roster, obviously team success plays a factor into the MVP, but when you're on a stacked team, do you think that kind of takes away from your votes?
Well, didn't Curry win MVP with Clay and Draymond?
For sure. But he was doing stuff at an Astro. I think you see what he had to do to get that, that level of performance where, hey, some guys can win MVP by averaging 26, 8 and 5. I don't think LeBron is capable of winning an MVP, putting up those numbers, because people are going to be like, look at the help around him. LeBron would have to do something ridiculous on a next level, especially at the age that he's playing with right now and what we've come to expect from him to have a shot at winning the award again.
It's crazy because again, we can relate this to football, like Tom Brady, man. He's up there with age, but his job, throw the ball, get behind his O-line. Hopefully the O-line can protect him. He can play till 50, bro. He can play till like 60, bro. I don't know about that. I'm pushing it, but
absolutely.
But LeBron,
until he wants to hang up the cleats, I'm never going against LeBron. I'm never going against. Absolutely love that you brought that up because that is a great example. I don't know if Tom Brady's ever going to win another MVP, especially with the stacked team that he's playing with down in Tampa. I do know that he's going to keep on adding to the legacy. This guy legitimately has a better odds of making the Super Bowl than Ben Simmons does making a free throw. All right. It is absolutely ridiculous that is a thing, but you can look it up. You can at me at that. You can at me at Big Papa Mazz on Twitter. If you think I'm playing, go check it out for yourselves. But Big J, moving into that, right? You brought up Tom Brady, another GOAT. Legitimately, in my eyes, I don't think LeBron's the GOAT of basketball. I do think that Tom Brady is the GOAT of football in terms of quarterback. Not necessarily the greatest quarterback talent of all time, but in terms of career and accomplishments, you cannot lie. This is a bad brother. He is the GOAT, and the GOAT is returning to Foxborough this weekend. What are your thoughts on the, dare I say, the king coming home to the Forgotten Kingdom?
Well, first, did you see the promo, that commercial? I think I went over in my sports class. I think NBC released they played the Odell song "Hell from the Other Side," and it kind of, you can tell it was edited because the fans were like, they made it seem like Tom Brady was like looking at the fans, made it look dramatic, but yeah, man, it's gonna be a big game. Must-win game off of because Tom Brady they got busted by the Rams last week, so must-win game coming back to Foxborough. It's no brainer. They should win, man. They should win.
Absolutely.
Because Mac Jones, he's still a rookie, man, still learning the ropes. Like you said, I think that the Bucs are more talented, all across the board. You got AB. We talked about that last podcast. AB, Godwin, Gronk.
Yo,
And,
but Big J, here's
hey,
what we're forgetting, Big J, right? We are dealing with the greatest coach of all time, my man. It's not even close. The GOAT. Nobody's even touching this man. And Brady's been there for a long time. Gronk was there for a long time. This man, he knows their tendencies. What role do you think that is going to play? I don't think this is going to necessarily be an easy win. I think Bill Belichick is going to go into his bag that he's been filling with tricks for years as the greatest coach of all time because he wants to make a statement too. Hey, I didn't need Brady. I didn't need Gronk. They were just pluses to have. I'm the mastermind behind this whole thing. This is literally this game. Although he is dealing with a rookie quarterback, I think this is going to have people talking about whether or not Brady needed Bill Belichick and vice versa, because we already got people saying that Brady didn't need Belichick because he already got one without him. But the fact of the matter is that was a stacked team. I think that's the most stacked offense that Tom Brady has ever played with, and just in terms of pure talent. But let's not forget, man, Bill Belichick's been around for a long time. He knows this quarterback very well. They've been together for years, man. So, what do you think, Big J? You think that that's going to play an impact? I don't think it's going to be an easy win for the Bucks, man. How about you? But I do think the Bucks win.
I mean, yeah, you do bring a good point. Like Brady and Belichick, that it's like Tim Duncan and Pop, man. Tony Parker and Pop, Ginobili and Pop. Players who have been around the league with the same coach that can be an advantage. So the Belichick probably knows how he plays, obviously, um, knows how he reads defenses. Um, I mean, so it could be I would say with that Ravens and Raiders and Ravens and Chiefs for a games of the year, I think this could top the game of the year, man. I see it, man. I see it. I see it. But I don't know that overtime crazy back and forth Raiders and Ravens game that's probably right. I mean, so far that's the game of the year right now, but it could be,
It's a dark horse for it, Big J, but I think you definitely make a solid point where we don't know what to expect in this game. Let's be honest. On
we
paper,
don't we don't.
it's a clear winner, right? Tampa looks 10 times better than the Patriots, but like I said, we're dealing with the greatest coach of all time. Dare I say, the greatest mind in football history at the professional level. He's definitely going to be in his bag. If it, This guy is capable of anything when he has his players listening to him, man. This guy has gotten more out of mediocre players than anybody we've ever seen. We talked about it a couple episodes ago where these guys come to the Patriots. He knows exactly how to use them. He makes them stars. He knows he doesn't need to pay them because he can get the next guy and do the same thing. Lets them walk. Some team gives them a fat contract. We never hear these guys ever again. He knows Tom Brady's weaknesses. He knows Gronk's weaknesses. He breaks down film like nobody else. The guy's a defensive mastermind. Their defense has been top of the league since he's taken over. They just need better talent on that team. And I'm sure it'll come. Mac Jones isn't necessarily, in my eyes, a great quarterback. Out of the rookies that came in, I'd rather have Justin Fields. First of all, I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence. We'll get into that in a second. But Mac Jones, I think, is definitely in the best situation to have arguably the best career out of rookie quarterbacks. I think just based on talent, I don't see it. I think guys could have better careers than him. But in terms of, accomplishments, sticking with Bill Belichick, being that systematic quarterback, he's set up for success as long as they bring in more pieces down the road. So anything is possible when dealing with Bill Belichick, Big J. What do you think?
I mean, I can't disagree with you, man, cuz like right now like when it comes to sports, I think he's probably one of the best, like, coaches up there with, Nick Saban in college football. You got Mike. I'm going to butcher this dude's name. Mike Krzyzewski from Duke. Um,
Coach K.
Coach K. Coach K.
I can't say the name, man. I'm not even making an attempt at it. I applaud you. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I was. Well, I'm a Duke fan. I'm a big Duke fan when it comes to basketball. So I mean, that's another day. That's another topic for another podcast. But he's up there with Popovich. Um, like he is. Even Phil Jackson, he's up there with coaches, and he knows his players well. He's groomed Brady. Like, didn't we say like Tom Brady was like the last pick in the
He
draft?
was a 6th-round pick, and looks what he's got out of him. Now, obviously, we got to give Brady credit because that doesn't happen all the time. It's near impossible. Like, he put in work. Like, let's not get it twisted. Tom Brady is a bad man and is the greatest quarterback of all time. It's the greatest career in football history, of especially when dealing with the quarterback position. So he put in that work, but you can absolutely say, Big J, that he doesn't progress the way that he does if he's not under Belichick. Who knows what happens if he goes to the Cleveland Browns in that year? We may never be talking about Tom Brady. Might just be among the list of quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns that were 1st-round picks. Well, he was a 6th-round pick, obviously, but we're dealing with an organization that's had multiple 1st-round picks that didn't pan out. If he goes to any other team, this 6th-round pick might just exactly be that, nothing more than a 6th-round pick, and doesn't end up the GOAT. So I think it was just the perfect recipe for success, those two coming together. But do they necessarily need each other? I don't think so. I just think them together is damn near unstoppable.
Yes, I mean I'm excited to see this game on Sunday. It's a Sunday night football game, right? Sunday night.
It's a Sunday football game.
Prime time. Prime time.
It's we're talking about. Hey, like I said, I think Tampa wins. This is arguably could be game of the year. We got a lot of bad blood going on here. Don't forget Gronk too. Gronk said, "I don't want to play here no more. I'm going to retire so I can get out of this contract." And then my boy Tommy hits me up and be like, "Yo, we're gonna get this championship. You my number one dude. Come get this. Let's build this legacy up." And Gronk goes,
Like
"Okay, yeah, sure."
It sounds like that commercial they do together. The T-Mobile commercial they do together. Like, oh,
Yep.
Gronk.
That's the relationship that they have, man. So yeah. Sunday, October 3rd, 8:30. I'm sorry, 8:20 p.m. We all know that kickoff always starts later, so you might as well just set your time for 8:30. Buccaneers Patriots. It's gonna be a quality game. Big J, looking at the games moving forward, for this week. We have a little rival game in the Lions and the Bears. Not necessarily the greatest talent, but bad blood between the teams. Interdivision there. We also got the Rams and the Cardinals. Got some talent on both sides. Raiders and Chargers. What do you think? Browns and Vikings. I mean, what do you think is going to be the game of the week? Definitely to keep your eyes on. Obviously, we just said the Patriots and Buccaneers. Do you think that that's the number one game to keep your eyes on?
So I'm looking at the phone. I'm looking at the schedule for the week. Week 4. So we see the Bengals kicked off the week for week 4 with a 3-point win over the Jaguars. 1:00 game, Washington versus Atlanta, a toss up because they're both, I don't know, man. I don't want
to just say it, Big J. They're garbage. We don't want to watch that.
They're garbage, but with a prediction, I think
it could go either way. I think the Washington defense. Man. Either way. I mean, Big J, let's just go down. Let's just go down the list real quick. All right. So first off,
are you on your laptop?
I got it on Bleacher Report right now.
Oh, okay.
On my phone. I got you real quick, big dog. Don't worry. So, obviously, last night we had the Jaguars and the Bengals. For those of y'all that didn't watch that, you missed a hell of a game. Trevor Lawrence proved why he's the number one pick in the draft. Everybody just thinks these Thursday games are just throwaway games, Big J, but or that when you have two teams that aren't necessarily towards the top, that it's going to be a bad game. I think it's anything but. I'd rather see two teams that are more close to a talent level go at it than a big discrepancy, because then you're just going to see a blowout. Anything can happen in the NFL, especially it's a violent sport. We see a lot of injuries go
I mean, you
down.
saw that Chiefs game last week. Anything can happen, man.
Anything could happen, man. So, and that's the thing. I mean, hey, look at the Raiders game a couple weeks ago, man. That was insane. They anything could happen in this league, and it's amazing. But
So
moving forward,
yeah,
you know,
so I saw the Texans and Bills.
Bills all day,
Bill all
Bills
the
all
way.
day. And if the Texans pull that out, it's a miracle, and the Bills shouldn't even be allowed to be an organization because they've already blown 4 Super Bowls. They're looking really strong right now. They should not lose that game. Anything
Um,
could happen though.
hold the next one I have is Lions and Bears.
I think that's
Um,
gonna be a war, man. I think it's
uh,
gonna be a war. I think we're talking about some bad blood here. Detroit and Chicago right by each other every time they play. I think Detroit comes out on top. To be honest with you, but it's gonna be a heck of a game. And if you can watch that, I definitely suggest tuning in for that one. Moving forward, next one I got here is the Browns and Vikings. Browns are looking pretty good, man. That defense with Miles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, that's a bad defense. Baker Mayfield's a solid quarterback,
yeah,
playing all right.
they were eating up Justin Fields, man.
Oh
I
my
feel
God,
bad.
they
I, I feel
guy
bad
ran
for
for
him,
his
man.
life. Rookie quarterback running for his life. You got to be kidding me.
I
That's a
didn't-
bad defense moving forward. Odell Beckham's coming back. You expecting big things from him?
It's funny because people are my viewers or our viewers. They're gonna hate me for this, but my stupid self, I had Odell Beckham on my fantasy, right, and he was out, right. He's on the IR, right.
Mm-hmm.
My dumbass took him off my roster. Um,
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't. Come on, man. You got to see what
oh
he's capable of. You got listen.
man,
Guy,
because I didn't know because like he coming from that what the ACL or I'm not sure what he's
I
coming off.
think it was an ACL.
So
Hey,
I
listen.
wasn't
He
sure
is.
like when he was going to be starting. You know what I'm saying? So I knew
Mhm.
it was up in the air. So
I think Odell Beckham Jr. is a good example. We were comparing to Ben Simmons before. I think that is exactly what Ben Simmons is. He's an Odell type player where he's been known to make some great plays, but he's been streaky when you need him. Odell obviously has like the injury history, but we saw like the Giants said we're not putting up with this. We just shipped your ass to Cleveland. Ben Simmons, take note. You might just end up in the middle of Indiana. All right, you want to be in California, but you might just end up in the middle of a cornfield, my man. Um, but yeah, that's definitely gonna be a solid game.
so
The
I think
Vikings are
so.
looking pretty nice.
But I think I like the Browns beating them.
Absolutely, I think that Dalvin. Listen,
I hate to say it because they're in my team's division, but
yeah, I mean the Vikings are looking pretty good, man. Dalvin Cook's been a solid running back. I have a little animosity towards him because the year that I take him in fantasy is the year that he goes down with that knee injury. So thanks for that one. You've been a stud ever since. But hey, Kirk Cousins has been killing it. Last week had a quarterback rating of 128.4. As we already said last week, 158.3 is the absolute best that you could do. So that is a fantastic rating. He played against the Seahawks. He went 30 for 38, 323 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 intercepted. And the Seahawks have been known in recent years to have a solid defense. Dare I say, a great defense. It's definitely not what it used to be, but the fact that he only got sacked one time, they're doing pretty good. Um, but yeah, I'm probably calling the Browns on that one, but that one could legitimately go either way. Um, let's see, week 4 here. Washington and the Falcons. I think it's going to be a good game, but it's going to be an ugly one. Washington's defense is supposed to be so spectacular. They have some Chase Young coming off the edge. That kid is going to be a generational talent if he stays healthy.
peace.
Shout out Ron Rivera. I believe today was the year anniversary from him beating cancer. So round of applause for Ron Rivera right there. We'd love to see that. They surprised him. with a nice little video package and dedication to a charity for cancer research. That was awesome. Falcons need to kind of get it together. A little sloppy of a team. Matt Ryan has been playing, all right, coming off the win. It was an ugly game against the Giants, that's for sure. Matt Ryan had a good game against them, but the Giants are not really a good team.
See,
But
like one thing about Matt Ryan is like kind of reminds me what you said earlier as how like I think this year is his. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs, but I think it's like he's getting old too, man.
might be
And
time to move on.
it's time to move on or retire, man.
No,
Retire.
I'm saying like for the Falcons, it's time. I think it's time for the Falcons to move on. It's You need to start thinking quarterback. He's up there in age.
Nah,
He's been a
yo,
solid quarterback, man. But is he the guy? Is he going to go out there and win you games? I don't think so. I think
big
not like
man.
he's not what he used to be. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to disrespect Matty Ice there. He's been solid over the years, but I
Big
think it's time
man.
to move on.
You don't have to worry. No. He don't have to worry about. He should be worried about his like vacation time, man, and like going to
Hanging it up,
the
man.
Bahamas.
You know,
But
hey,
maybe he can go to like a team that needs him, like that can give him that championship. He's at that time, that Carmelo Father time, like where
it's time to move on. Atlanta's not doing nothing. They're obviously
they have
kind of
a rookie tight end.
they're hitting the rebuild mode. They just got Pitts. They just let go of Julio, but Julio has like the injury history. They didn't want to play him. I can't blame them on that. But man, they're in rebuild mode. It's definitely time to get Matt Ryan out of there.
Who's I don't know the running back. Who's the running back, bro? I don't know.
Dude, I honestly
Who
it's
are
been
who are
going
the
great
receivers?
over the years. It's really been no one
Other than
fantastic.
like Devontae Freeman, which we got.
Oh, dude, they picked up Cordell Patterson from the Bears. That guy's like a Swiss Army knife. We saw him do a little bit of everything for the Bears, from returning punts, kickoffs, running the ball out of the backfield. Even though I'm pretty sure he was uh been a wide receiver. That guy's just Swiss Army knife and is absolutely awesome. But I believe their number one on their depth chart should be Mike Davis. Mike Davis against the Giants was not great. The Giants are not a great team. He only had 50 yards of on 12 attempts, which is like, hey man, that's all right. He's averaging 4.2 yards a game, but that just goes to show you that Mike Davis isn't doing much against teams that aren't that good. Let's be honest. They got rocked by the Bucks the week before. Davis had 38 yards on 9 attempts. Averaging 4.2 yards. Hey, man, you average 4.2 yards, you'll end up with a first down, but it's not fantastic numbers, So I don't know. I'm not sold on the Falcons. I don't think anybody is. Um, they're a bottom of the pack team right now, and they're going to continue to be that as they're in this rebuild. And as you said perfectly, Big J, it's time to move on from Matty Ice and let him go out there and try and get one for the old resume right there. We have the Chiefs and Eagles. I expect that to be a slaughter, as we saw the Dallas Cowboys laying down the smackdown on the Eagles earlier this week on Monday Night Football. As a Cowboys fan, that was awesome to see. Dakota Prescott looked amazing in that game. Defense looked fantastic, but I expect Patty Mahomes to absolutely dice that defense up in Philly. That's going to be a slaughter.
That's gonna be a slaughter. That's gonna be like 50-0, man.
It damn well could be. I see Philly probably scoring probably 14 on them, but I think it's going to be like a 42-14 game, to be completely honest with
But
you.
like you said, it's the NFL, man.
It's the NFL. Anything could happen. But yeah, especially Patty Mahomes coming off a little rocky week. He threw a couple of interceptions. That is not like him at all. So expect him to be back with a vengeance. Um, we have the Colts and Dolphins. A little interesting. I don't
That's another toss-up game.
another toss-up game.
I
It,
feel like
it
the
could go
Colts
either
will get it.
way.
I think
Um,
Colts will get it because Miami is just they can't finish games, man.
yeah, they've been having troubles with that for a while. I mean, hey, they hung in there with the Raiders. Um, last week. They took them to overtime. They lost 28-31 in overtime. I believe they're rocking with Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback right now. I think Tua went down. Um, hey, we'll see. I know they have a nice rookie in Jaden Waddle down there. Mike Gesicki's been a solid tight end for them. Um, so we'll see, man. The running backs these days looking it's Miles Gaskin. So these are guys that they're just pretty solid at the end of the day. Nothing great. Waddle has the potential to be a top wide receiver in the NFL, especially we saw him go pretty high in the draft, especially for wide receivers. I believe the he was within top two of wide receivers taken off the board. I really thought Devonta Smith should have been. We all know he went third for wide receivers, but um, you know, like we said, that's absolutely a toss up. I believe Carson Wentz for the Colts is still down. I don't think he's gonna be starting this game. Carson Wentz is he's questionable. We'll see if he plays. We got a lot of injuries in Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor, star running back, his knee is questionable. Carson Wentz is their starting quarterback. He's questionable with those ankle injuries. Um, a lot of injuries, man. We are literally talking Carson Wentz, Jack Doyle, Jonathan Taylor, couple of O linemen down, and in all we have 9 players out as compared to, I'm sorry, we have 4 questionable, 9 in total players that are potentially out for the Colts. Where Miami's only really missing one. I really haven't been paying attention to the situation down in Miami. I'm kind of curious what happened with Tua. I haven't heard any injuries with him, but I wouldn't be surprised if I missed that. He has, you being an Alabama fan, know that he has the injury history there. But I think I'm actually liking Miami on this one. What do you think, Big J? You're on mute, my man.
Shoot, man. Nah, I yeah, I like Miami, man. Like who's their backup for Miami?
Jacoby Brissett, who I think they
Oh,
are
nice.
rocking with. Tua has not been great. He got some action against Buffalo. Like I said, I don't remember Tua going down, so I think they might have actually just might have benched him. He, uh, yeah, I don't know what's going down there, man. I don't trust Tua. Poor kid's been injured.
Yeah, because remember he had because he went down. I forget what team he played in when he was at Alabama, but he had that foot injury.
hmm He
So
had there was a problem with I believe he had a problem with like the hip too. Pretty sure he broke his hip back when he was in college.
and that was that.
Uh,
Oh, that was that game. Yep, that hit.
yeah, so this is a guy that is questionable. I don't know how Tua's gonna pan out. I'm not sold on him. I think Alabama made him look pretty good as a quarterback. As I said, out of Mac Jones, Tua, and Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is the most talented. It's not even close for me, to be completely honest. But moving forward here, we got the Giants and the Saints. I expect the Saints to beat the Giants. You never know with that one. They're rocking with Jameis Winston. Jameis is capable of throwing for 30 touchdowns in a season with 30 interceptions. So kind of a toss up for me on that one, but they've been doing pretty okay.
Yeah,
So
I think Saints got that one in the bag because Giants were their own 3.
I don't trust the Giants, man. I think it's time. You want to talk about moving on from quarterbacks, and I'm not even saying this. Like Matty Ice has been solid. Daniel Jones needs to go. I've been saying it for a while now. I'm not sold on the guy. Yeah, if he's your backup, okay, that's fine. He should not be starting. If I have a team, I'm looking to draft a new quarterback. He's been given enough chances. Obviously, he could use a little better of help, but at the end of the day, when you're a quarterback taken that high in the first round, you expect that guy to make plays, and he's just not that guy, man. Time to move
I mean,
on.
some can.
Keep
I mean, I
moving.
definitely agree with you, man. But some can counter that one game against Washington. It wasn't his fault. It was they had the game in the bag. Dude stepped over the line, man.
But that's the thing, Big J. That is
But
everybody said that, everybody has said, especially Giants fans, look at what he did in that game. Okay, man, that was one game. Look at what he's done in every other game. Look what he did against the Falcons. I was at that game working at MetLife Stadium. I'm up in the upper 300s, but hey, MetLife Stadium is a fantastic structure. Anybody that's been there, if you're up in the 300, you can still see everything. Um, so whoever built that stadium really knew what they were doing. And you saw multiple plays. Guys are wide open, and Daniel Jones just constantly overthrows them. Guy doesn't make good plays, doesn't make big plays all the time. Um, I just don't trust him. I'm not sold on him. I don't see what's so special about him. Yeah, he's got some arm strength, but it's being a quarterback in the NFL is way more than just being an arm. I don't see him taking those steps that Josh Allen took. It's another guy who was a big arm that we were questioning. Hey, how is he going to be? Ba ba ba. Yeah, obviously a big arm is awesome, but I do not see him progressing the way that Josh Allen did. He took some big steps. We're talking about going from a guy who was just overthrowing to top of the pack in terms of quarterbacks. And Daniel Jones, to me, is not the guy in New York. Time to move on.
So let
And
me
for that reason, the Saints are going to win.
so let me ask you this, man. So you think that you don't see really Daniel Jones progressing as a passer, but he's a one of those like I would say traditional pocket passer. So would
We saw him. He's got some wheels. He's not Lamar Jackson. Um,
here it comes, bro. Would you put Lamar Jackson over Daniel Jones with the like this year
passing,
with the
passing.
passing year?
Absolutely. I think Lamar Jackson.
Lamar's been throwing some good passes this
I
season.
think Lamar Jackson throw. I trust Lamar Jackson's passing over Daniel Jones. Because here's the thing: even if I didn't trust Lamar Jackson's passing, he still adds that second asset of being able to take off and run. I know, Big J, you're big. You love guys that are mobile. I love guys that are mobile too. I just don't want that to be their main facet, the main um style of play for them. I want them to just save that in the bag where I feel like Lamar might take off a little too early. He needs to trust his passing better. But that's the thing. Daniel Jones takes off. We saw he had that 80-yard run last season. And what does he do, man? The guy's so unathletic, he freaking trips over his own feet and hits the ground before he even gets to the end zone. I don't trust the guy. I just don't think he's the guy. And yeah, you could say I'm hating out there, but the guy hasn't done anything. New York obviously hasn't had the most help. He's playing with Saquon. Saquon's solid. They should be able to establish the run. That line's been trash for a while, but I've just never seen the guy make an action. Like he does not make enough plays for me to say, hey, this is definitely the guy that I want to stick with moving forward. I think it's definitely worth bringing in a rookie quarterback and try and get some competition out of there. And I think that rookie quarterback, if you take him high enough, is definitely probably going to end up beating him out in my eyes, especially dealing with Spencer Rattler down in Oklahoma right now is looking like a bad man right now. I think it's definitely worth getting another quarterback in there. He's not a guy that's worth paying a fat contract for me to be my guy. I don't see him being the guy in New York. And we talk about sports markets. New York is another one of those. Hey, we expect you to be great. You're gonna hear about it, but I think Daniel Jones has really gotten a lot of slack from the New York fan base. I think they're just giving him way too much chances, and it's definitely time to keep it moving. And just like I said, keeping it moving forward. Titans versus Jets.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah,
most of us would say,
yeah. Before we get to the next subject, man,
my bad.
other boy, do you know Demetrius? He's in your interpersonal communications class.
Yep.
Yeah, he said shout out to Big Mazz, man.
Oh, bro, Demetrius is the dog, bro. We have great soccer conversation. You can catch us in between class talking soccer all day. Shout
Yes,
out
sir.
Demetrius.
Yes,
Great guy
sir.
right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
But Big J, we got the Titans and the Jets, right? Um, Obviously most of us would say the Titans would destroy the Jets, but let's not forget AJ Brown and Julio Jones are both going to be out this week. What does that mean for the Titans, and do the Jets have a chance of winning one here?
I mean, I would say that the Jets could because I wasn't. I know we talked before pre-show before we hopped on live, and you said that AJ Brown and Julio were out, and I mean, I think they just can. I think they can get their first win, man.
It's definitely possible.
Definitely possible.
I think they're going
Um,
to be relying heavily on the run. The Jets aren't bad at stopping the run, as we've seen. They've always been like a decent at some form of defense ever since going back to the Rex Ryan years. Um, they played against Christian. They held Christian McCaffrey, CMC, who some say is the best running back in the league. Week 1, they held him under 100 yards, no touchdowns. Um, that's really big. You would expect CMC to dice them for more yards. The Jets do not have a bad run defense. Moving into week 2, they played the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots don't really have a stud running back, but I believe they're number 1 up there. Running back. I know they use a multi-back system. They like getting multiple guys the ball there. I believe James White and D Harris are their guys. Both of them 62 yards, 20 yards. So we're talking about a defense here that is decent at stopping the run. Even against the Broncos, they got blown out 26-0. Um, Melvin Gordon, number 1 running back in Denver, 61 yards. This is a team that is solid against the run. Um, but let's not forget, Derrick Henry is a beast among men. That guy does not just run through guys, he hurts the guys as he runs through them, man. He's leaving bodies in his path. This guy, to me, I think I'm at the point right now where this is the best running back in football. Christian McCaffrey obviously is up there. I myself took Christian McCaffrey first overall in my fantasy football draft. But with the injury, with the injuries that CMC is having, Derrick Henry's the clear number 1 right now. And I don't see this guy being stopped. This man is just, as I said, he's a warrior. He's legitimately a beast among men.
you are you're funny, bro. He is literally freaking stiff arming people, making players do swirls, bro. he is like poof poof. He is like, I hate to bring it up, but he made Earl Thomas look like a boy, man.
Absolutely.
He and that dude can run too, man. He can run.
He's fast for that frame, Big J. Like the velocity that he's generating. Oh my god. How do you tackle that, man? The guy's got tree trunks for legs. It's just when you're playing football, you never want to be scared. But if there is a person to be afraid of, it is Derrick Henry.
He's a monster, man. So I mean, so who do you have winning, man? Do you have who? I'm sorry, who's the quarterback for the Jets, man?
Zach Wilson, number 2
Wilson.
overall pick.
I keep on. So Zach Wilson, do you see Zach getting his first win, or do you see that Derrick Henry just bullying the players, man? Because the Jets they have Mosley, with our former linebacker, our middle linebacker,
DJ Mosley.
Yeah,
solid piece. When healthy, I know there's a little bit of problems with him staying on the field every now and then. I think it's actually. I gotta be honest, man. Looking at the Titans, looking at the Jets, I don't see the Jets obviously have a good run defense, but we are talking about the best running back in the NFL. If Ryan Tannehill is no slouch, I think he's benefited from guys around him. But let's be honest, who do the Jets really have as a number 1 wide receiver? I think the talent level of the Titans missing their 2 top guys might just be equivalent of what Zach Wilson is actually working with here in New York. I don't know. should be New Jersey. Everything else they do is in New Jersey, play in New Jersey, team headquarters in New Jersey, practice facility in New Jersey. They should be the New Jersey Jets for crying out loud. And maybe I'd actually root for them, but until that day, but I actually see I see Carolina giving the ball to Derrick Henry, and I'm not going to go against the best running back in the league right now, especially with a team that has been known to be streaky, um, even awful at times. I just don't trust the Jets, man. Let's be honest. The Jets been in a rebuild mode since 1969, man. The team can't get it right. They had a nice little trips to the AFC Championship under Mark Sanchez, but never got the job done. And hopefully Zach Wilson pans out for them. I think the kids got some talent, but I think they definitely need some more pieces. And as I said, Tennessee missing their two top guys is still probably just as talented as the Jets being healthy. So
Yeah.
if they had both guys, we wouldn't even be talking about this game as much. But they do have a window of hope. I just don't know if they can actually get through to the other side.
Yeah, so one game we haven't talked about yet is the Broncos and Ravens, man.
Ooh.
Broncos 3-0. Lamar 2-1. Lamar coming off, and the Ravens coming off that victory against the Chiefs, and then that world or record breaking field goal from the Lions. So they have some momentum. But got the bad man Teddy Bridgewater, man. Both mobile quarterbacks, both can throw the sling the ball. So who do you have winning that game, man? Oh, and like I said, what I tell you, big man, what I tell you, man, Boykins is back, Bateman is back. Let's get it, man. Big trust, big. Let's get it, bro.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually like the Ravens in this one.
Hey,
Hey, the Broncos are 3-0, but it's a pretty weak 3-0. Their first 3 weeks, they've played the Giants, they've played the Jacksonville Jaguars, they played the Jets. These are not great teams. These are bottom of the barrel teams, dare I say. Um, they're just let's be honest, man. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. These teams are garbage. These organizations got to be better. Jacksonville gets a little bit of a slide for me because they brought in a guy who we all think is gonna be the number one guy. The Jets get a little bit of a slide for me, working with a new coach, new quarterback as well. But these teams aren't good yet. So the Broncos are 3-0, but they haven't faced any real competition. They have not faced a quarterback that is among top of the league, so Lamar Jackson is legitimately top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's got some pieces back around him. I would actually like to see more um I would like to see more of their running game being established out of the Ravens. We know you guys lost a lot of running backs. I think you guys are on like your third string right now
no, well,
due to
Tyson,
injury.
don't sleep
Yeah.
on Tyson Williams, man.
Hey, Tyson need to take care of the ball a little bit
A
better,
little bit
you
better,
know.
and then we got Murray. We got Murray, and we got
And hey, I'm rooting for him because I picked up Tyson Williams in my fantasy league. So shout out the Ravens. Hopefully y'all get the dub. I just think you guys are a better team. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is, a bad quarterback. I think he's okay. I think the Broncos just are 3-0 because of the schedule right now. But we'll see. I think this is the big test on to see whether or not the Broncos are legitimate or actually legitimate. But I just really don't see it happening, to be honest, my friend. And I think Baltimore edges them out. I'd probably see that game probably about 28-26, but that's only because of how close Detroit came with you guys. But I definitely have the edge going to the Ravens there. I'll
now.
take
I mean,
Lamar's
some
talent.
news that can kind of like um derail your prediction is there's some news that Lamar has some back soreness. He did miss I think a practice because of that. Let, let me just back it up. Okay, I think there's a report. 'Cause I mean, I follow my teams really closely. So let me just double check on that. I know he missed practice because of that, kind of like, but Greg Roman is not worried about it. Kind of little back flare a little bit, because he has been running a lot. He has been getting hit a lot, and let me just double check on that real quick. Um, yeah, let me see, let me see, let me see.
So, Big J, let me ask you this: with him having the back problems, as we already said, I'm not really afraid of the Broncos. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, this is a game. Do you think that this is a game that you can afford to actually rest him and let that injury heal? I don't think.
Could be got a good backup man in Tyler Huntley, man. I ain't worried about that, man. We got Tyler Huntley. Um,
Got some
but
pieces there, to help him out win. Sammy Watkins, Hollywood Brown. We'll
he
see
has to catch some balls early in the first half. Like he can't be dropping them passes like he
for
did in
sure.
Detroit, man, in the first half. But he did pick it up in the second half. Yeah, I mean, Greg Roman said that he's not really, he's take it day by day. I mean, I don't know. I think the report came out a few days ago. But Greg Roman said, nothing to worry about, not really worried, but you want to be cautious. Um, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind resting him for a game. Because I mean, I had faith in Tyler. I feel like Tyler Huntley, is like he can scramble.
Hmm.
He throw the ball really well. So I mean, I ain't worried, and I'm excited to see Bateman return. I haven't seen him play yet, a rookie first rounder. I'm excited to see Boykins back. Kind of people have been looking down on him because he hasn't really been productive, but he's like, I think Willie Snead last year reminded him of Miles of Michael Thomas,
Uh huh.
of his work ethic because he's tall like Michael. He can go for the deep balls. Um, so he's coming back. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like we bench Lamar, get him rest. Because it's important, man, to have him for the games, man. Because so yeah, I mean, I see the Ravens pulling out. Maybe I would say like I would say the score would be like 27-30. Just because just it was tight. Against Detroit, which it should have been tight.
Hmm.
You know? But it wasn't really all on Lamar's fault. Like players dropping balls. Um, you know,
We see it all the time, man.
like you
You
said, the
got to get
NFL stuff happens, man. So
anything can happen, man. We've been drilling it all episode since we've gotten into the NFL. But yeah, I think we both agreed on the Ravens there. Moving forward, we got the Cardinals and Rams. I think this is going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a quarterback shootout right there, man.
both 3-0 teams, man. Both 3-0, both undefeated. But hey, everybody can't. Um, everybody can't win, man. So either one team has to win, bro. So unless it's like an overtime game and they freaking tie it, like it was that one game, right? It was like the Cardinals and Texans. I think they had a draw.
We've seen a couple of ties over the
I don't think.
years. A
I
little
don't think
more
really.
recently.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's definitely if there's a game to tie to draw. This could be it.
yeah.
The Rams defense is still solid. They have the best interior pass rusher. Um, maybe ever. Honestly, Aaron Donaldson is a bad man. Uh, the numbers that he puts up from the defensive tackle position is just insane. You obviously have to put that into your planning when going against the Rams. Kyler Murray, we always talk about running and quarterbacks that are able to take off. We always mention Josh Allen. We always mention Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray got a set of wheels on him, man. This kid is just he's kind of like a it's kind of just like a walking Madden game, man. He's just juking everybody out, running around. He's short out there. I believe he's only like 5'10". A lot of people didn't like that about him, but the kid is just a flash of lightning. You can barely see him. He's short. He got an arm on him. He's making plays. And we'll see. He's working with DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't I don't know, man. This one could go to either one. The Rams, as we said, are a solid team. They brought in Matt Stafford, obviously was the top move to make, and getting rid of Jared Goff was definitely the right move. I was never sold on Jared Goff, and I think this is one of those things that we're talking about where Matt Ryan, the Atlanta Falcons need to do their due diligence. Matt Ryan, thanks for everything that you did to us. Let's go get you to a team for a contender and bring in somebody younger that we can develop, just like Detroit did for Matt Stafford. And I think this game could go either way, but I think I actually kind of like the Rams coming off the win. Big J, your mic is on mute, my man.
That's two strikes, man.
Third one you out, B.
Huh?
I said third one you out. Nah, you're all good, man. We all make
Bro.
mistakes.
Now I was saying that I can see the Atlanta Falcons tanking and then getting Bryce Young at Alabama, bro.
We got some options here, man. But I think they definitely
I
need
don't,
to
I
move
don't,
Matt Ryan.
but I don't believe in the whole tanking because like I feel like you should like if you want to win, you gotta win now. But hey, that's what teams do. I mean, but definitely like you said, like get Matt Ryan out of there and then get someone young that's developed like Bryce Young, um, um, and get him in there, man.
You got to do your due diligence. You got to get Matt Ryan out of there, man.
Right. Like any more games we didn't cover, man. Any more
Yeah,
games?
yeah. We got a couple more here before we wrap this up. I think we only got a couple games, so we'll buzz through this one real quick. We got the Seahawks and the 49ers. Russell Wilson's a bad man. The 49ers got a solid defense. That's another one that is potentially game of the week for me. Interdivision, they always go at it. And honestly,
a monster, man.
the 49ers are actually favored in that one. The Seahawks are going through some pains recently. That's a toss up for me. I honestly don't even know if I have a prediction. Probably gonna go um with the bookies on this one. Probably go 49ers. I think it's gonna be a close one. Steelers and Packers. I like the Packers in that one. The Steelers offense has not been the best. Aaron Rodgers is still a bad man, and he's one of those guys I'll never go against. Ben Roethlisberger, if he's even still starting there, I don't even know who the hell they're starting
Might be Dwayne Haskins, maybe.
Is he? Yeah, he's on the team. That's a possibility. I know they have our boy Mason Rudolph. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, listen, Ben had an okay game against the Bengals recently, but I mean, he's really showing signs of slowing down. He's not what he used to be. So for that reason, and because there's just hey, they got Najee Harris. Najee Harris is dope, out of Alabama, but the Green Bay Packers have Adam Jones coming out of the backfield, and he's been really solid for them. So I just think there's better offensive weapons for the Packers. And I'm sorry, Aaron Jones, not Adam, Aaron Jones out of the backfield. And let's be honest, man, we don't ever talk about the Packers, but they have a quality wide receiver there, man. We are talking about one of the best in the game, and we can just not say enough good things about Devontae Adams, man. The guy is just a baller. So for that reasons, I gotta go with Green Bay. Moving on here.
Yeah, like I'm gonna keep it simple and sweet, man. Packers steamroll the they're gonna steamroll the Steelers, man.
Hey, Steelers got to win over the Bills, but they
Yeah.
got a solid defense here. They're gonna have to rely on the defense. I just, the game is geared towards offensive favoritism these days. So for those reasons, I definitely see the Packers coming out on top.
Right.
And lastly, but not least, another potential game of the week. The game that I actually probably am most excited for outside of the Dallas Cowboys. Did we even talk about Cowboys? Cowboys and Panthers. That's going to be a nice game. I think Dak's going to carry the momentum, and I see a Cowboys win. I think that defense is going to give
Are the Panthers undefeated? They're 3-0.
the Panthers some problems. What was that?
Are the Panthers are they undefeated?
I they just might be Big J. Let
Because
me
you can't
find them
sleep on
real
my boy
quick.
Sam Darnold, man. Well,
Yeah, I mean, hey, they
nice, man.
yeah, I believe they actually just might be
I think
3 and
it's
no. They've
I
It's
think
been a
I
couple of
think
ugly
the Rams,
ones.
Cardinals, and I think the Panthers are only undefeated teams in the league.
Yeah, they're coming in undefeated, but hey, um, Cowboys, they definitely have a better quarterback. I think Sam Darnold has finally shown what he's able to do. I think he's a solid guy. I think not having Christian McCaffrey is actually going to be really bad for that team. Hopefully the Cowboys can carry the momentum moving forward. Zeke can finally keep it moving. He had a solid week um last game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I would like to see Dak Prescott continue to do what he's been doing this season, proving that he is an elite quarterback. So hopefully the Cowboys keep moving. Maybe a little biased here, but I see the Cowboys edging that one. And minus 4.5 favorites. Uh, I think that game probably might be a little more high scoring. I don't always trust the Cowboys defense. So for that reason, I think we're looking at a 38-35 win for the Cowboys. Probably going to come down to a field goal. What else is new for them? But the Raiders and Chargers, these have been two quality teams. Uh, Gruden's been getting a lot out of Derek Carr, getting a lot out of the Raiders. A little lucky at times, let's be honest. Herbert's looking like a legitimate threat. That is legitimately going to be an exciting game, no matter how you look at it. Big J, who do you like in this one?
See, I'm in a toss up because I got Darren Waller on my fantasy. I need him to go off. Um, Chargers are nice, man. They're
Chargers are
nice.
nice.
Herbert reminds me of like a young but a little faster than Tom Brady, man. Like I said in the other podcast, he
Mhm.
reminded me like a good passer. Still young, still developing. That's the thing about these QBs, man. We got Mahomes, like 24, 25. Got Lamar Jackson, 24, 25, I think, or 20, 23, 24. Herbert, still young. All these young quarterbacks, like we're criticizing them, but they had so much more to play, bro. Like so much years left to turn debtors wrong, man. And Herbert, I like Herbert, man. He's nice, man. Coming from Oregon, coming from a pass heavy offense and run, um, with with that scheme, it fits the Chargers scheme, fits that scheme. Um, they got my boy Mike Williams from Clemson. They got
Mhm.
Keenan Allen. They got a good roster, man. I don't know about their defense really. Oh, we can't forget about the defense.
Joey Bosa.
Oh no! Like when we talked about the Rams, man, Donald, man, Aaron Donald, bro.
Oh, you mean the Raiders? You talk about their end, Max Crosby coming off the end there, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So Max Crosby. Listen, both teams, Joey
we
Bosa,
got
Max Crosby,
yeah.
ballers on the defensive end. They got a lot of offensive pieces. This is literally a toss up for me. I actually think I like the Raiders in there. I think they just played a slightly better schedule, beating the Ravens in week 1. Uh, they played the Steelers, edged them out 26-17. Week 3, they beat the Dolphins. Whereas, the Chargers have been doing work. They lost to the Cowboys. Cowboys did not have a great game offensively on in that one. Definitely relied a little more on the running. Dak didn't even have a touchdown that game. So shout out to the Chargers defense. But last week the Chargers played. My apologies. The Chiefs won that game. Um, everybody gets one, man. They balled out. The defense making some plays. Literally a toss up. I think I actually like the Raiders in this one. But last thing here, Jay, we've been going for a while here.
Yes, sir.
There's
Yes,
one thing I just really wanted to cover, my man. The Thursday night game, I gotta bring it back to this. Trevor Lawrence is a bad man. He doesn't have much help. DJ Chark goes down, their number one wide receiver. He's out for the season. He just snapped his ankle. Um, the kid is 6'6", right? 220 pounds. And if anybody that watched that game out there, he's mobile, throws dimes on the run. This kid has glimpses of magnificence. You know, he we saw him in Clemson, was awesome. We see what Clemson's going through without having a generational talent like Urban Meyer. I'm a big fan, but we'll see how it translates. I gotta question some of the calls. There was a crucial 4th and 1 down on the goal line, literally 1 yard away, where you obviously, in my opinion, this kid is 6'6". You trust the line there, you go quarterback sneak. But because he was dicing up the Bengals with some read options there, uh, earlier. We saw him juke a linebacker out of his shoes, for crying out loud. But they're in the red zone, 4th and 1, chance to go up 3 scores. They don't take the field goal. That some people are questioning that, but hey, I like the move going for it. But a run, they decided to do a run out of the shotgun, right? And I don't know if they were thinking speed option. It was definitely some kind of option there. And Lawrence is out of the shotgun, runs, takes a big hit, big collision at the line of scrimmage, doesn't get in. I don't know what they're thinking. They need to get it together down there in Jacksonville. I don't know why you're having this rookie quarterback in these positions to take these kind of hits. Either take the 3 points or go QB sneak, or you have a running back. James Robinson's a solid running back. Get him the ball in that situation. Jacksonville, they need some pieces. They're still in rebuilding mode, but I think they're just shooting themselves in the foot with just bad decisions here. We see a lot of people going after the coach. And Big J, what does it mean to you when you have a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback? Obviously, there's potential to grow together, but do you like the pairing necessarily, or does that tend to bother you?
Like, are you asking like just like in general, or just the Urban Meyer and the Lawrence?
Well, let's go with both. What do you think? What do you think Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence are going to accomplish together?
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. But I didn't watch the game last night. 'Cause I was going back and forth between like the Yankees game and that game. But I'm looking at the box score. I mean, 17 for 24 completions. This is Lawrence. 204 yards. Um, Average 8.5 yards.
Clearly was balling out. They did
Balling
not
out.
lose
Zero
because of Trevor
touchdowns.
Lawrence. Here's a stat for
Right,
you, Big
right.
J. At one point, they were 50% on third down conversions, right? I think
Mhm.
they were 4 for 8. All of those four at that point in time was from a run from Trevor Lawrence. Whether it was a read option or him taking off on a pass play, the kid is making plays out there. But I don't know. They're just not being too smart. They're not working with much. They just to take these big contact, man.
Yeah, but like to answer your question, I mean, I think like any coach with any new rookie quarterback, it's tricky. It's and a mixture of luck, man, because like a coach coming in from a college, obviously Urban Meyer is respected as a college coach. He's very well liked in the college world realm. Um, but it's I mean when a coach doesn't had that NFL experience, like it's tough, man, because it's not just about the quarterback. It's about building that chemistry, getting different personalities into the locker room, different play types. It's tricky, but I mean, hey, like I like this combination of Urban Meyer and Lawrence, man. It's kind of like I think it's gonna work out, man. But I mean, they might not make it this year, but I mean, it's about progression, man. It's kind of like a new coach in the NBA, a new coach in the NBA with a younger team, man. It's just got to take time to gel. But when it comes to these other quarterback situations, we have some rocky situations like in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like so I was in my sports storytelling class, and I had to write like just a lead article for like one of the assignments, and I did one on Justin Fields and how like Matt Nagy, Bears fans despise Matt Nagy right now because he's not really saying who's going to be starting in week 4. Because Dalton, I don't know if he's hurt still. We got, the veteran Nick Foles in or Justin Fields. We saw what they did to Fields. They destroyed him. But I think the reporter asked him, what's your game plan for week 4? He was like, oh, I'm gonna keep it internal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Hey
hello.
man, but that's the thing, that's kind of smart because you never know what to throw at the guys. I think you bring up a really good point there with Matt Nagy because this is a guy who's been a head coach for a couple of years with a rookie quarterback. I don't think it's going to necessarily work out, and it's not going to be because of Justin Fields' fault. I think it's Matt Nagy's on a borrowed time over there in Chicago. But that's my last question for you, Big J.
Sir, yes, sir.
Right? We're gonna start wrapping this up in a second. My last question for you, right?
Yes,
We
sir.
got we got Robert Saleh, who's the former defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He's now the head coach over for the New York Jets. He's working with a rookie quarterback, in Zach Wilson. Never been a head coach. That I know of. I think he's just been a coordinator, worked his way up, and now he's landed himself a head coaching job in New York with a young rookie quarterback. And then Jacksonville, we have Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. Nice pairing down there, man. Potential to grow together. You with your view, man, would you prefer to see a coach with NFL experience? Um or a coach with head coaching experience, who'd you rather take the shot with a rookie quarterback that is considered to be an elite talent like Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence?
I'd rather have a coach that has more experience in the NFL. A coach who knows the ropes, who's been who's has who's a coach who knows how to deal with a coach who knows how to deal with losses and wins. Um, but like I said, like the situation in Jacksonville is lucky because it's not luck, but a little bit of luck because Trevor Lawrence is a wonderful talent. Um, and Urban Meyer, like he realizes he doesn't want to waste that good talent because he wants get the ball rolling early. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather have a quarter or a coach that has a little more experience. But now, if you know the game, because obviously NFL and college is different paces to the game, like with coaching and with the players on the field.
Absolutely.
So I believe that some good, like, I mean, I would love to see Nick Saban coaching NFL, man. But I don't think
Again?
it'll happen, man.
Ugh.
Yo, that would be great, man.
I don't think he could. He's never leaving Alabama. We
No,
all
no,
know
no. He's
that.
never leaving. He
But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it translate, man. I think he knows how to get kids ready. I don't know if he necessarily can do it. We saw him at the NFL level. It didn't really work out. That's why he ends up going back down, becomes a god in Alabama. But I like your take, man. I really appreciate it. You going with the experience. I think Robert Saleh is definitely a guy we like. I don't always trust defensive coordinators when it comes to being transitioning to head coaches. We saw a couple of them. Wade Phillips was a solid defense coordinator. Was not a good head coach for Dallas. He was all right, but like I couldn't stand it. Better than Jason Garrett, but still, depending on the year, Rex Ryan, solid defensive coordinator. Now a head coach. When he was a head coach, um, for the Jets. I'm sorry, was a defense coordinator, was a solid defensive coordinator, becomes the head coach of the Jets. Debatable, he got him to a couple of AFC championships, Mark Sanchez, but I don't know. I actually like taking a chance on the new guy. Doesn't always work out from college. As we said, it's a completely new thing. But if there's a guy to do it, I think it's Urban Meyer. I think it's completely situational. But for me, if it's the right guy, like Urban Meyer, I think I'd like taking the shot here, Big J. But hey, we have gone for 2 hours, man. You know what it is. We'll be back with another one on Monday. Big J, lead us out, dog.
Yes, sir, man. So yeah, man. Great talk, great episode. I want to thank y'all for like tuning in to the show. Keep on if you have a homie or your boy or your girl or anybody, your family, your cousin, your aunts, please, man, share it. Anybody who's viewing it, share it. Becoming. I mean, I know we don't have our full team right now. You know, we got Matt coming in and Anthony. They had to get some equipment, some microphones. But good show. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. And I'm Jordan, JJL, Big J, and we got my boy Big Mazz, man. And yes, sir, man.
Yes, sir, Big J. You know what it do,
Yo,
Brandon.
if anyone wants to reach out to you, man, what's the best way, bro?
Man, if you want to reach out to me,
Instagram.
Honestly, I got to get on the Instagram game. The best way to reach out to me is on Twitter at Big Papa Mazz with MAZZ. One word. You can find me on Twitter, man. You can catch those hot takes. Me spreading the knowledge out there, giving these fire takes. You know, so Twitter's the best way, man. All day. Instagram coming soon. But you know, the JJL Sports Show, we just getting started, man. We got some great talent. As you said, Matt and Anthony just getting some technical difficulties out of the way, and we'll be back with another one better than ever.
Another one, man. All right, brother. All right, fans. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we'll be back with another episode, maybe Monday or sometime in the week. I know there's some stuff going on Monday, but we'll be back for sure next week. Let's get it, man. Well, goodbye, everyone, and have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.